Hey fam, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. Let's deal with Charleston, South Carolina, of course. Remember, 9 black people were killed at Emmanuel AME Church. Well, today the House passed a bill that might have prevented that massacre of 9 folks by that racist white supremacist Dylan Roof. Now, of course, it took place in 2015. Under the current law, if the required background check for a gun purchase is not completed in 3 days, the buyer gets the gun. The bipartisan bill will increase the wait period to 10 days. Opponents of the bill didn't want to inconvenience gun buyers. Oh, really? South Carolina Congressman Jim Clyburn, who is the majority whip in the House, spoke in support of the bill on the House floor yesterday. Emmanuel AME, of course, is in his congressional district.
Welcome into our capital today, Ms. Jennifer Pinckney and her 2 daughters. There are the wife and children of Reverend Clemente Pinckney, who along with 8 of his Bible study parishioners lost his life to a demented white supremacist who said that he was interested in starting a race war. He entered their church, participated in the Bible study, which they welcomed him into. And as they closed their study that evening and prayed for what they had experienced and for their next meeting, this gentleman, while their eyes were closed, opened his and slaughtered them. I find it interesting that my colleague has talked about the inconvenience of waiting longer than 3 days to purchase a weapon without mentioning those poor souls. This was a hate crime of the first order. And we are saying we should not inconvenience him. And we did not inconvenience him. We allowed him to get that gun after 3 days, when it was around the 5th day that they found the glitch in the system and found him to be ineligible to own a gun.
So our panel, here's the fundamental problem here. First of all, we have seen the first gun legislation bill, gun control bill, passed in more than a generation as a result of Democrats now controlling the House. And if you look at those numbers, you now have Democrats who used to be in these, middle of the road, center right leaning districts who are also voting for this. And the bottom line here, Scott, how the hell can you make an argument you can't wait 3 days?
Because you can make an argument I can't make that argument if I'm in a red state or red district.
Actually, you can. Because damn it, you can wait 3 days.
You can, but they won't then. They won't because they want to get reelected, and the red state Republicans who have guns, who hunt or do target practice or kill black people, unfortunately, it's very difficult for them to do it. I'm reporting. I'm not evaluating or supporting what I'm saying. I'm saying this is how the mindset is.
But Roland, you know what? Between the Parkland young people and the presence of Lucy McBath on that Congress, you have impetus for this kind of legislation. So, if you already have a gun...
What happens when it goes back to the Senate, then?
Well, I'm not talking about the Senate. Okay. Although you're absolutely right, the Senate is probably going to nix it. But what we see is basically momentum building to say every fool who wants a gun cannot have a gun right now. No one is saying you can't have a gun. Right. You just can't have a gun right now. As Congressman Clyburn said, what if they had waited the 5 days? This guy wouldn't have had a gun. And so you don't have an emergency need for a gun right this minute unless you have some ulterior motive. If you want to go hunting, you want to go fishing, surely one of your boys has a gun that they can lend you, and surely you can wait 10 days to go get a gun. So what we're really looking at here is, of course, the right-wing agenda of the NRA being revealed. But as I said, the Parkland young people have given this enormous impetus. They have been really focused. And the victory of Lucy McBath in Newt Gingrich's former district
in Georgia
really does speak to the number of suburban white women who, on this particular issue, said enough. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to have them all the time and on everything, but with this woman and her compelling story, Jordan Davis massacred by a crazy white man who was intoxicated and thought his music was too loud.
Right.
Now, if I got shot every time my music was too loud, y'all would be having many, many eulogies.
But Erica, but this is where we stand, though, and this is the fundamental problem, is that what these folks have done is they have scared people to death in terms of you should support any type of issue when it comes to getting guns. And I'm sorry, you can wait 3 damn days. You can wait. I mean, it's all kind of stuff in our society that you got to wait for. I think you can wait for 3 days to get a gun.
Oh, absolutely.
You can't get your passport right away.
Right.
You gotta wait.
And that don't even take a week. Erica, don't wait. No, Erica, go.
And so then to your point also, and then we also see how the Second Amendment continues to be drudged up, and of course the NRA with their powerful lobbying efforts backed by Russians continue to influence and push a narrative that waiting longer than the 3 days, which I think that they believe that that's too long, but the 10-day period would really allow for law enforcement and all these different agencies to do proper checks and balances, because had that been done, it would have been picked up that Dylan Roof had a drug charge and he was thereby ineligible to purchase a weapon.
What you're seeing now, absolutely because of Parkland, because of Santa Fe in Texas, because of Sandy Hook, you're also seeing white folks finally get some damn courage on this. And I'm saying that, Scott, for a reason, because, no. I'm saying this because, again, the problem is when you talk about this notion of gun control, the reality is, and the Parkland students said it, the Parkland students have said that because they are young and white, they have been able to move this needle more than people of color. They said it.
Yeah, that's true, and I hope you're right. Don't get me wrong.
I am.
I hope you're right.
I am.
To be the case, you may believe you're right.
I am.
Look at Lucy McBeth's district, right? It was a very, very close race, notwithstanding everything you said and notwithstanding everything she said, right? So this whole idea that the country's moving, wait till that bill gets to the Senate, right?
Well, no.
When it gets to the Senate, if it passes, you can convince me of that. Is there progress? Sure, there's progress.
First of all,
this isn't a movement yet.
No, hold on. One second. We can't ignore the reality that the Democrats added 40 seats in the House, and gun control was a part of that equation.
I agree.
Now, the Senate, of course, you still have Republicans in control of that. Yes, they are now about to see their lobbying effort, but we can't still act as if the numbers have not shifted, because we've actually seen a dramatic shift in the last 20 years towards more gun control, even from NRA members.
Those numbers haven't. Let me just point out. We've always had the numbers that said we want smart gun control.
Scott, there's a difference between 51% and 70%. That's my point.
Well, I don't think that's the 20% gap. I think those numbers that you want smart gun control, are you for gun control? The majority of Americans have always said that.
But there's a difference between the majority of Americans and a supermajority of Americans. That's my point. Actually, it does.
Okay, you feel good.
Go ahead, Julian.
But you know, the other piece of it is that NRA hegemony is being broken up. We keep seeing these mass shootings, and as you say, Roland, this is not black people going in these places and shooting stuff up. We had a couple, but not very many. These are white folks killing white folks. There might be a black person hiding under the desk, and so you see this hegemony. You see white people who were heretofore Republicans saying, my child was shot.
Right.
You know, I don't get to see my son's wedding or my daughter's, birth or anything like that. So you see people who are being moved, and they really are looking at the intransience of these Republicans.
Got it.
And they're breaking.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment. Calling all HBCU alumni, students, and leaders. Enter the Ford Motor Company HBC-You Mobility Challenge and win $25,000 for your school. Building on their long-term support of HBCUs, Ford is looking to improve mobility in HBCU communities through innovative solutions. The winning program will receive a grant of up to $25,000 $5,000 to implement the proposal. The deadline to apply is March 31st, 2019. We want you to go to FGB.Life, FGB.Life for more information and to apply. Ford goes further in our community, and we certainly appreciate Ford Cares being a partner here at Roland Martin Unfiltered. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.